So not only was this like a kind of, well, I mean, anytime, regardless of whether you're working together or, um, I think too, the fact that you're both facilitators and like all that self-inquiry is so big, like that makes the relationship a little more complicated. We actually interviewed a couple of people. They're both psychologists. They're
Oh,
both named Kelly Flanagan. They're both named Dr. Kelly Flanagan. It was hilarious. But
wow.
they kind of, they were talking about psychologizing each other also.
Yes.
But
Yes.
not only that, but you guys went through something very, very difficult. Do you want to talk about that as well? Because I think, it might be helpful for other people to hear and how you got through it. And
Sure, sure. Yeah, and it is so essentially what you're talking about. Lindon and I lost our son Bodhi in 2017, in June of 2017, um, and since then we've had 3 miscarriages, and this is a how do I explain it? This is something that we're still evolving through, and I'm grateful, so grateful for the 8 years of the work that we did before we lost our son, because that really guided us through that process and is continuing to guide us. And we're adding more understanding of ourselves and trauma and grief and how they're different, and um, uh, and loss. And then it's really kicked me into different spiritual practices and understanding different ways of experiencing myself in a spiritual sense and our son in a spiritual sense. So it's just like it's this ever evolving process, and so it's just a constant conversation for us. I mean, we're really.
Yeah. To give some context so that
Yeah.
listeners can understand. So Cassie was pregnant in 2017. Our first was due on June 1st. On May 31st, so the day before his due date, his heart stopped for unknown medical reasons. They did. We've done thousands of dollars and dozens of tests, and there is no known medical reason. They did it on Cassie, they did it on Bodhi. They still have no idea. So it's quite literally an anomaly. So his heart stopped. He had a full-term baby. She delivered. He is beautiful, but he never got to see the earth side. So that's what she's talking about when we say that we lost our son, and then since then also the 3 miscarriages thereafter, which for us, and especially for you, is what you've talked about, is the miscarriages thereafter were more painful, more devastating. I don't know if that would be the word, than losing our son. Our son, there was still almost something to have a relationship with. And then to go and take the shot again after you've taken a shot and failed, it takes a lot more willpower, a lot more juice, a lot more faith and hope for something to happen, and then to have it fail again, and then to try and then womp it all back up for a second time, and womp it all back up for a third time, and continue to get, smacked down essentially by it. So there's we get to have pictures of our son, because we had this wonderful lady come to the hospital where Cassie delivered him. So we have pictures of him, and we get to memorialize him, and we get to have Christmas ornaments with him on it and all that kind of stuff. And his grandma and grandpa talk about him, in whatever relationship that they have with him. And then we have these other ones that we don't, but we put in almost more energy into, because it was that much more scary to try again after losing Bodhi. And so as she's saying, it's continuously evolving, because it's not like it's done. And we are in the midst of, are we ready to try again? Because like I said, after the thousands of dollars of tests and dozens of tests, the doctors say, she is of the utmost health. Like between normal, she is smack dab in the middle of everything, and my health smack dab in the middle of everything. So go ahead and try is essentially the message, and these, we still have to deal with the emotional hurdle of saying, okay, here we go again. Are we ready to maybe have it and win and have the kid that we've been wanting for 3 or 4 years now? And what would that do also with the relationship that we have with our son Bodhi, as we have this now new kid in our life? And or if it doesn't work out for whatever reasons, what then happens with us and or with our, just belief in why are we here and what's this all about, and why do we get tossed these hardships when it seems like we've learned lessons. Can we continue? Can we move to the next phase, please? Like,
how many times do we have to learn this one?
Right. Yeah.
But that seems to be the thing that, at least after the last miscarriage, it became very clear to me that I can't control what happens in life. Like, try as I might, nobody's voted me queen of the universe. So, okay.
I'd vote for you.
Thank you. One vote. We're good. Huh?
So I want to be queen.
Right? Queen?
I vote for you.
I vote for you. Yeah.
Sorry, honey, I already spent my vote.
Yeah, right? Oh, you and me, Patty, it's the two of us. Yeah, I can't control what happens to me in my life. The only thing that I can do is understand me and what I bring to all the things that happen in my life. That's been my life for the last 12 years. And it feels like I'm understanding that at a deeper and deeper and deeper level. Like, where does my responsibility begin and end as far as these situations that are outside of my control unfold in my life? And so in this last, after this last miscarriage, this is almost a year ago now, we basically said, like I said, pause. Essentially, pause. I gotta get to the place where I am willing to have anything happen to me in my life, and I know I'm not there yet. And over the last like 6 months, even just the last month, we've really dove into allowing whatever happens, and that we're okay with whatever happens. So we'll see, like I say that now, and then we'll see what happens.
But I think it's so difficult, that learning to trust the universe or trust whatever's happening to you and surrender to it. And I'm constantly working on that too, just to allowing surrender to whatever the circumstances may be. Because I feel like peace is, if I can get to that, I feel like peace is right behind that wall. Yes. God damn, that's a thick wall.
Yeah, it is.
It's good. It takes some pressure off, I think. It's like, I keep telling myself, and I've got some family issues right now where I feel like I'm on auto, repeat right now with the words that I'm saying, but over and over again, I'm like, you don't have control over that. And no matter what happens, the day's going to go on. So we'll deal with that when it comes. Why build a bunch of stories of what if? So.
Yeah. One of the things that when we got together and I proposed and we talked about getting married, was we set an intention that we want to create a truly extraordinary life, her and I. And one of the ways in which we want to do that is, no matter what the circumstance or what life throws at us, good, bad, ugly, does not matter, we will look at it in a way that says, what can we learn from this that we can continue to better ourselves? Mm-hmm. How can we use this to better? And it doesn't matter if it's logical about how do we save in finances versus how do we deal with life and death and family issues. We've always decided that whatever is presented to us, how can we take something away from that? And I think it does, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, is it does soften the edges on a lot of these things, because there's an assumption in there that I will take something from that, learn, develop myself, and then go play again and go
Yeah.
move forward with it. As opposed to where I think a lot of people do, and I know that I could be prone to do this, is I could just say, oh yeah, you know, shit hit the fan. Oh well,
Crawl in a hole.
crawl in a hole and just back to the
Lick my
humdrum.
wounds for a little while and then come out and do it again.
Yeah, just back to the humming along of repetition, and then it has like a, oh man, if I could assume, or you could probably see, like once you did that a handful of times, boy, what, like then you're asking like the why, what is this all for? Like that's lame. That's a mediocre life at best. And so this idea of how can we take it and do something with it so that we can better it, which means that we're going to keep pushing forward. That's definitely softened the blows of a lot of this, and I think really helped us when we feel like we've gotten off, pull the other one back in or bring it back together so that it reminds us of, we got a purpose here that we've both dedicated ourselves to. Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
I know that if you, when you get to that place, you'll definitely be in a position to help a lot of people that have gone through similar stuff, you know?
Yeah, Cassie is a blog writer, and she was writing blogs well before she got pregnant with Bodhi, and was writing blogs and also leading workshops and whatnot. So, most, if not all of our clients knew along the way. Especially now.
I was pregnant.
Yeah, well, obviously that you're pregnant.
I'm sorry, I knew what?
Knew that we lost Bodhi, lost our son, and
yeah.
had miscarriages and whatnot. Through the grapevine and all that kind of stuff, they heard. So there's been a lot of people that we have heard that have gone through stuff like that we wouldn't have known before.
Right.
That because she was open about what she was processing and where she was and how she didn't want to wake up on days and didn't want to continue to do stuff and wasn't sure what she wanted to do with her career anymore, and processing through that and figuring all that out. Clients that we've known for 5, 10, 20 years that came in and said like, oh, I went through this too, and that helped me in something that I went through 20 years ago. And so and the blog that she's written with people that have now read her stuff and listened to her stuff that we don't even know. So yeah, Cassie is so open with where she is and what she is processing on. There's nothing that's really off, like that's done behind the scenes or off stage. She processes, and then it's like, you have a conversation with me. Okay, here it is. This is what it is. And because of that, I think it really helps people see like, oh wow, we're not alone in this. Like the world is suffering. You know, what Buddha said, life is suffering. So like, why don't we talk about it a little bit so that we can all figure out how to get through it and something better. And Cassie does a great job at that.
Yeah.
What a big change from Cassie 1.0, who was like, I'm not talking about my feelings.
I want to share my feelings. So like,
Totally.
oh, let me just put it out there for everyone to see. Yeah, Sam, it's like what you said about that thick wall, that just on the other side of that wall is peace. Just on the other side of the willingness to allow anything to happen in my life is this overwhelming sense of peace. And to me, life feels like this big obstacle course that we're all on, an individual obstacle course. And we're constantly working out these struggles, challenges, obstacles, joys, all the things. And the more that we share our path with each other, I think it helps us understand our own, because it's different, but there's similar qualities to it. So I know when I'm sitting in a workshop, I get so much out of hearing somebody else share, because they're not talking about me or my situation, but it helps clarify my situation. And so those perspectives are always so helpful. I think that's why we love reading people's stories. We love documentaries. We love knowing what's going on at, reality TV or whatever, it's like, we want to see what's happening in each other's lives, because it helps us understand our own. Right?
Yeah, it's sort of what you guys were saying, where almost everybody you meet, if you look hard enough, there's a reflection of yourself there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And vice versa. Right. So whatever it is that's going on inside of me is there for you. Why wouldn't I share?